whichever floats your boat, you know. But y'all, come on in, come on in, come on in. As you're tuning in, make sure, just comment in the chat box. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm still trying to get used to using or going live from my phone. It makes me look like I'm looking in several different directions, right? So make sure that you, again, just let me know where you're tuning in from. Shout yourself out in the chat box. Y'all know how I do it. Like, I love to hear from y'all. Love to know where you're tuning in from, where the audience is, and all those good things. Trying to see your comments. Hey, 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 Miguel, how are you? Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be back. Dominican Republic. I love the Dominican Republic. I've gone there um, a couple of times, and it's definitely one of those places I want to be. Hey, Maureen. Sure, you can send it to me. Hey, Matthew. Hey, Bria, Aisha, Monica. Y'all come on in. I hate this camera's all in my face, y'all. I feel like one of those old people that doesn't really know how to use their cell phone, so they get all the way up into the camera. That's how I feel right now. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Tiffany from, who is it? Tiffany from Georgia, I think. I'm serious. I feel like, you know how, my mature people, I'll say mature. So y'all won't be mad talking about Dr. Dean is over here making fun of the senior citizens, right? So how have you guys been? Talk to me real quick. I know some of you all are just tuning in. Again, I'm trying to get used to going live from my phone because it's just not what's hot. Let me know if my connection is clear as well. I want to make sure my connection is good so that I don't start talking and y'all, I don't know what is up with this thing. I hate doing this from the phone. Like, I real deal feel like good. Thank you, Tiffany. So, anywho, I want to talk to y'all real quick. It's Friday. This is really impromptu. And here's why I've started to do impromptu lives, because I don't want to get so scheduled that I'm not speaking like real time, real talk, real things, right? And not saying that I won't create something that I'm going to do regularly. I don't know what that will be just exactly yet. I'm considering doing Mogul Minded Monday, which is one of the components of the channel. Well, what this channel will become is Mogul Minded Monday, and or some kind of mindset something. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm still working out the details of that. And I'm willing to be transparent with y'all about that, because, when God said come back, I was just like, okay, I already know what you want me to do, but I'm going to go, right? So this is strictly a move of obedience. But I want to talk about, the number one shift that you have to make to succeed. And when I say succeed, I'm not talking about just in business. I'm talking about in life, right? The number one shift that you have to make to really truly succeed in life, and that is, you have to be willing to change your perspective. You have to be willing to choose your perspective. Now, let me talk about perspective real quick, okay? Somebody put perspective in the comment section. Oh, this is really working my nerves. She said, read me my rights. I'll do what I can, I don't mind. Yeah, perspective. So one of the things that I have learned is that every situation and how you choose to look at it, which is your perspective is power. Okay. Perspective is power. But here's the thing. How powerful and the way that this power shows up in your life is dependent upon you. So perspective, first of all, is pulled from the posture of your heart. Somebody put that in the comments. Y'all know I'm always giving y'all some instructions because I want you to engage. But I'm sorry. Perspective is pulled from the posture of your heart. What am I saying? What do I mean by that? There's a situation that can happen, and depending on the posture of a person's heart determines how they're going to respond to it, right? And so your perspective gives you an opportunity to choose the power in which you perceive this thing. Okay, so perspective, again, is pulled from the posture of your heart. And so when something happens in your life, how you view it, how you choose, the perspective you choose is going to determine whether you prosper or whether you remain in a posture of pity. Okay, again, it's going to determine whether you prosper or whether you remain in a posture of pity. Tough times, hard things, hard situations, they happen to all of us, right? Even at this current moment, I'm in a tough situation that some people, their perspective of the situation I'm in could paralyze them, right? And they could stay in that posture of pity. Or they can take this perspective that I'm looking at it from the angle that I'm looking at it, and I'm choosing to prosper no matter what's going on, right? And so I've always even told my kids the same thing when bad things or tough times, things don't go the way that you want them to go or whatever the case may be. I always tell my kids, I said, well, what is the blessing in the lesson? Now, there are times when they look at me like, Mom, I don't want to hear that right now, right? But because I have strategically taught them and trained them to understand their power, the power of perspective, even if they're upset at the time, they always find a way to prosper in the situation, right? So I always ask them, well, what is the blessing in the lesson, right? So, but here's another thing that I want to say when I say this, because I want to make sure that you understand that I'm not saying that God puts hard things on you, or he, you know, uses certain situations to punish you or teach you a lesson. That is incorrect teaching. Okay. God does not use things to punish or teach us a lesson. He does not inflict pain upon us to teach us a lesson, right? What he does is any situation that does happen in our lives that is painful, that is trying, that is hard, he works it out for our good because that is his word. Okay. But what I'm saying is, whenever something happens in your life that does not feel good, you have a choice at that moment. And so many times people will look at the situation they're in and they'll say this, why is this happening to me? How many of you all have said that? And again, this isn't judgment. This isn't to ridicule you or anything like that. Um, this is just to get you to change your perspective. So how many of you, when it happens, you're like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Right? Okay, good. Thank you, Aisha, for being honest. Now let me share this. Tiffany, thank you for being honest. I was the same way. Every time something happened, I would say, God, why is this happening to me? Why are you allowing this to happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? And I would go down this laundry list of things, telling God, I don't understand why you allow this to happen to me, because I've been doing this, I've been doing this, I've been doing this, and this person over here, and I see people doing this and this and this, da 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 da. And he had to stop me in my tracks. And he's the one, of course, that told me and gave me the revelation about perspective being your power to either prosper or lie in pity. And so he says, what about what I am trying to do through you? Let me help y'all. Again, when something tough happens, when a trying situation happens, you can choose your power of perspective. So when it happens, instead of you saying, why is this happening to me? Why not shift your perspective and say, what are you doing in me, through me, and for me? Three things. What are you doing in me, through me, and for me? Why do I say that? Because number one, he says that all things work together for the good of those who love him and who are called according to his purpose. Then he also tells us that he will perfect everything that concerns us, right? And so because of that, we understand that when something happens to us, He is not going to allow it to happen without it blessing us. Okay? He's not going to allow it. He also prunes the trees, right? So that they can bear more fruit. That's also scripture. So when he allows something to happen, there is something that he is trying to get out of me that could hinder me from getting what he has for me. And when it happens for me, it's not just for me, it's for those who I'm also called to serve. So there is someone that needs the revelation that I've gotten, the understanding that I've gotten, the strategies that have been birthed, the solution that has come from what I've gone through. So this is why you have to change your perspective. Because if you sit in that place of pity and continue to say, why is this happening to me? You never get to that place of prosperity. And let me say this because I know that we've been taught that prosperity is a gospel and people just, no, it's not. Prosperity is not a gospel. Prosperity is the gospel. Okay? It is a promise from God that he said everything our hands touch prospers. He said if we abide in him, then he'll continue to prosper us. He talks about prosperity plenty of times. And it is not just about money. Prosperity is in the relationships that you have. Prosperity is in your health. Prosperity is in your mental, in your mindset. Prosperity is in your business, in the ministry that God is giving you. Prosperity is in every area of your life that you can think of. So it is beyond your bank account. So let's just get that out there, okay? Because again, I don't like when there's the wrong perception, right? We're talking about perspective, but then there's also the wrong perception and the wrong revelation about a thing. And I like to bring clarity to that. But again, we're talking about the number one shift that you need to make in order for you to succeed. And I'm not talking about just in business. Of course, I am in business. I am a business coach, so I'm going to tell y'all about those things as well, okay? Um, However, I'm talking about to succeed in every area of your life. Now, you guys, I don't know if you all remember when I did the 7 steps of elevation, that teaching that I did on that. That was very powerful. But I talked about that as well. But again, we're talking about, being successful in every area of your life. And so to do that, you have to choose the power of perspective. You have to choose the power of perspective. So, because here's the thing, there are things that are going to happen. There are things that are going to test you, that are going to try you. There are people that are going to talk about you, that are going to lie on you. There are times when your heart is going to be broken. There are times when your finances will be challenged or low. And so, how do you still remain in a place of being successful even in the trying times? How do you get out of the trying times? How do you grow from the trying times and not get stuck there? I remember Steve Harvey saying that if you're going through hell, why stay there? And that was so profound because we know that every storm comes to an end, right? The sun has to shine again. Um, all of these, quotes and inspirational quotes and all this thing. And it's so true. So if you're going through hell, why stay there? If you're going through a tough time, why stay there? But what I have noticed is that people the situation may pass, the storm may pass, but the person will still stay in that place of struggle. They'll stay in that place of torment. They'll stay in that place of frustration, right? Because they don't know how to really move beyond it. And that is because they have not maximized or really understood the power of perspective. So again, it's not so much about what happened to you. It's what's happening in you, through you, and for you. So when you begin to look at the situations like that, you will begin to see that God is going to unlock more things to you, right? He releases more to you because he can trust you not to stay stuck in that place of pity. Again, perspective is power. And how you choose your perspective, or the perspective that you choose, determines whether you're going to remain in pity or you're going to get up and you're going to be in prosperity. All right. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I'm going to be sharing much more of these teachings, especially at the upcoming Breathe Retreat. The retreat is October 14th through 17th in Destin, Florida. And so we have released the spots. We've opened those spots up. And you can just send me a quick DM or comment here your email address if you'd like to put that there. And I will personally reach out to you with the details about Breathe the Retreat. Or you can just email me at info@shamikadean.com. And it's SHAMIEKADEAN, because if you spell it wrong, I'm not going to get it. Okay. So, real quick, before we wrap this up, I want you to share with me in the chat box, in the comment section, which part of this resonated with you the most. What was the aha moment for you, and what are you going to take away with you? Okay. Tiffany says, "All right, I know I might try to be there." Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I'm waiting on y'all. I know there's a little bit of a delay in the comments, and you're probably typing fast. And also, I think the comment section only allows you to type so much at a time. So, hey, Jenna, thank you. I'm glad to be back. Tamika says, perspective is power. Absolutely. Monica says, change your perspective about everything. Absolutely. So, y'all are paying attention. I'm here for it. Who else? Who else? What is your I'm sorry, what was your biggest takeaway? Your biggest aha moment? I'm not going to be able to do these lives from the phone because all this shaking and jiggling and stuff is not of the Lord, okay? Aisha says prosperity is not just based on success in business, but in relationships and health. Yes. So even when God talks about even the word salvation, right? The Greek word for salvation is soho. And what it means is it literally means prosperity. It means protection. It means provision. But oftentimes, when we even see salvation, we literally only look at it as a one-way ticket, out, as a ticket out of heaven. I'm sorry, out of hell. We don't even really look at the depth and the dynamic of what salvation is. But that's another topic for another day. That's why he says, study to show thyself approved. Derica says, recognizing our struggles, plights are not to punish us, but to bring something out of you. God doing a work in us. Absolutely. Hey, Bethany. Jenna says, perspective allows you to get the strength to, through hard times, keep your hopes up. Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, so we got to understand, that it is really truly about how we choose to view those things. Tiffany says, what I got of this message is because I'm going through something. No, don't mean have to say it. My mindset shift, share my perspective, knowing that is a lesson. It says, yes, absolutely. Bethany says, oh my God, y'all reading my life right now. Who else? Anybody got anything else for me? And thank y'all for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the number one shift that you need to make to succeed. And again, it's not just about succeeding in business, right? It is all of the things, succeeding in every area of your life. And that is to use the power of perspective. I need to change my perspective and realize that what God is teaching me or trying to in the struggle. That Steve Harvey quote just struck me. There was a situation happened a few months ago, but I was still get mad about it when I talk. So I need to change my perspective and stop living in hell. Absolutely, because nobody can make you stay there. That's for sure. Takeaway: watch my thoughts and how I view at things. Let the work be done. Yes. I said sometimes it's so hard to see the good on the other side when you're suffering at the moment, and that is why you have to. That is why you have to choose your perspective, right? So again, understand that you literally have the power to choose, right? I can choose to be mad. I can choose not to be mad, right? even remember I was telling somebody about, I was talking about forgiveness, and someone had asked me about, how can you forgive someone when they've done so much to you? Or how can you forgive someone who's hurt you, in a deep way? And so I told them, I said, I know the Bible talks about, forgive so that we can be forgiven. And it talks about, how, um, we've been taught how forgiveness is for you and all of those things. And I said, that sounded good to me. I said, but it didn't feel good. And I didn't care, that it was for me at that time. And so, but what happened was I wanted something different. And I was tired of being angry. I was so tired of being angry. Every day I would wake up, I would be so angry. I could feel the fumes, permeating through me from the anger that was exuding, the anger that existed inside. And, one day God asked me a question. He said, "Why do you enjoy being mad?" And I was just like, "What?" It's like, "Why do you enjoy being mad?" And so that was that moment of revelation. And I was just like, dang, I don't know, because it's draining, right? Doesn't bring me any joy. And I was just tired of being so mad. And then the other thing, the next step was when he taught me that forgiveness unlocks the flow, right? And so I don't want to go deep into this one because I'll probably make this another video. But how forgiveness unlocks the flow of your favor, your funds, your future, and your fortune. And so then he began to show me how unforgiveness created this obstruction. And so an obstruction is a blockage. And so because I was holding on to certain things, there were things on the other side that I had been praying for that couldn't get to me. And so then I had to think about it. Is what they did worth me not getting what I want? Right? And not only that, but forgiveness also, it forgiveness also, I'm sorry, yeah, forgiveness also, so it frees you up, it unlocks the flow. And then unforgiveness gives that person unauthorized access in your life. So like they're basically living rent free in your head and in your heart, and they're occupying a position in your heart that they shouldn't even be able to, they shouldn't be allowed to, right? They should have been evicted, but because of unforgiveness they're still occupying that space. And so there are things and that you've been praying for that come through other people, but because you're still holding that person hostage in your heart, because of the pain that they've caused you in your past, the people that are in position to release to you or to be a part of what God wants to release to you, they can't occupy their space because that person is there creating that blockage. They're taking up that space. And so I was just like, so you mean to tell me that there are so many things that I want that I can't get because I'm holding on, holding hostage to somebody, and they have unauthorized access in my heart? And you mean to tell me I can't get what I want because I won't release them? Oh, consider it done, sir. Consider it done. So I forgave them for me. And I also forgave them because when you hold on to them, you're giving them permission to keep causing you pain. Somebody need to type that in the chat box. So that was good. That was good, dog. And so again, when you hold on to unforgiveness, you are giving them permission to continue causing you pain. Why? Because you're holding on to the situation, you're holding on to the person, you're holding on to the pain, you're holding on to forget the feelings. And why most people can't seem to really forgive is because they hold on to the feelings associated. The feelings um, take you back to the facts, and the facts are what really happened. And because of the facts that it really happened, that they really did it, that they really caused you that pain, you feel justified in holding on to unforgiveness. You feel justified. And that's why it is more difficult, because of the feelings that are associated with the facts, which is, the facts is the situation, is what they did, right? And so you feel justified. So because you feel justified, it's like, why should I have to let them go? They don't deserve it. But the real question is, do you deserve to be healed? Do you deserve or desire? Let's even talking about desire, because beyond deserve, desire. Do you desire to be healed? Do you desire to get those things that you've been praying for? Right? And so if you truly desire it, it's kind of like that situation. Like, how bad do you really want it? So you mean to tell me all I need to do is forgive? That's it? Okay, consider it done. And so that is how I began to, to approach life. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying that it's possible. And I'm saying that I desire more to receive the promises of God than I did for calling myself punishing them through unforgiveness. Okay? And so that's it. So again, I'm probably going to do the forgiveness video in another just video by itself. I probably just do that one. Actually, I already talked about it. So I probably just upload that video on here and premiere it so that it can go live for y'all. But that's all I had. I just wanted to get on here and do this. I was sitting outside and I was just like, you know what? Let me go ahead and go live on YouTube, because I told y'all I was coming back, and I'm a woman of my word. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do this video real quick while I'm sitting out here doing nothing. Well, really, I was doing nothing, but I was just enjoying, the sanctity and the serenity of silence, as I sat on the back deck. So awesome. Yep. Yeah, I'm not doing prophetic pouring anymore. That's not what God sent me back on here to do. Now, I'm not saying that if he gives me a prophetic word, I won't release it, but I'm not doing that segment anymore. Like, but, like I said, if he gives me a prophetic word, I'm definitely going to release it. I know that when he told me to come back, I knew that it wouldn't be the exact same way, right? Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Um, am I still operating in unforgiveness if I say I forgive the person but won't forget? If you already covered it, please regard. I really don't think that we're supposed to forget. Um, because when you forget, if you forget the situation, then the revelation goes with it. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think that you're supposed to forget. I think that you choose not to allow it to have power over you anymore. But I don't believe that you're supposed to forget it, if that makes sense. Hey, Katrina. You get what I'm saying? Hey, Ashley. So I think that that's what we have to understand, is that, um, yeah. So I think I was pretty clear on that. But yeah, I don't think you're supposed to forget. I think that we're so busy trying to forget because we feel like when we forget, then the feelings and the pain go away. But that's not the reality. It's not the reality. Like, scars show us what we were strong enough to survive, right? So the scars, even the scars that are etched in our heart that don't have a physical scar, but those memories, right, that are there, they show us what we've had the strength to survive. And but here's the thing: once we survive it, we're not supposed to stay in survival mode, and that's where most people are. So they survive, but they don't ever really truly soar. They don't ever really um, move beyond survival, and so that's not what was intended for us either. Staying in survival mode, and I think too many people are in survival mode because they haven't surrendered it to God, like, in totality. You get what I'm saying? The anger stems from the unforgiveness. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I did a whole teaching on from survival to soaring, but I don't really like to talk about survival because it just keeps people in a space. But the only way I would talk about it is that if I can show you how to shift, out of survival, because survival is just not where you're supposed to be, right? um it's Survival is a struggle. It's a struggle mentality, and survivors are always fighting to stay alive. That's what survive Think about it. If you're drowning and you're constantly trying to survive, that means it's a constant fight. It's always a fight. And when you're fighting, you're tired, you get worn out. So, you're like, I'm still alive, right? But you're still sinking. You're still sinking. And so, my job is to really truly teach people how to get out of survival mode so that you can stop sinking, so that you can stop fighting, so that you can stop struggling. That is not the life that God wants you to have. He didn't intend that for you. But what I've learned is that, um, and this is not for everyone, but what I've learned is that sometimes survival and struggle become a part of your identity. And so, because you've been in it so long, and you begin to identify that as your who you are and not something that you've gone through. And so, you know, yeah, you're alive, but you're still sinking. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where I see, so many people, um, when you begin to identify yourself as that. And I talked about labels as well. Like, labels are something that are so limiting. Whew, that's a whole nother live for another day as well. But labels can be so limiting because instead of people using, um, labels as identification, just to identify a thing and understand it, they use the labels to identify themselves. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. Thank you so much for that donation. I really appreciate it. You're so sweet. Um, I thank you. I truly do. And I just, pray that that He literally exponentially expands what you just, donated, what you just sown. Um, what was I saying? Y'all bring me back to my thought. Oh, labels. So again, when it comes to labels, what I've learned is that people, instead of them using the label to as, an identification to like identify the why or the root, they begin to make the label their identity, right? And so it creates these limitations that we're not really seeing. So, for example, and again, hear me and hear me out. Um, I had someone to say to me, she was just like, um, I can't do that. She's like, oh, this is making me upset because I'm OCD. And so without thinking, I said, that label is limiting. And so she said, no, but I really am because it makes my mindset, something she said. I said, when you begin to make that your identity, it limited you. I said, now, had you said, um, this is something that I've identified about myself, you would have looked for a way to shift from it instead of making it a part of your identity and staying there. I said, because if it's making you anxious, right? And if it is not bringing forth anything like positive or moving or propelling you forward, I said, that is a problem. And so she said, I never thought about it like that. I said, but that is what labels do. They become limitations when you make them your identity instead of a part of the identification process, so that you don't get stuck in a place that you don't want to be. And so I asked her, I said, is that where you want to stay? You get what I'm saying? I said, do you want to stay in that place? And she's like, no. I said, so that means that you have to rip that label off of yourself. You got to rip that label off of yourself, because the more that you continue to allow it to be a part of your identity, I said, you're going to stay there. And so, it was groundbreaking, and revelatory for her. But these are things that I'm talking about. What's the first step to getting out of your comfort zone, going into something new as far as a job opportunity? There really is no first step. I guess, well, let me say this. I guess the first step would be the decision, right? Knowing that this is something that you want to do. So it's a decision. So you decide that this is what you want to do. And then what is the next step that you need to take? And the reason I say that you need to take is because the next step that you need to take may be completely different from the next step that someone else needs to take, right? So what is it that you can do right now with what you already have, so that you can begin to making so that you can get the directions. So it's the decision and then the directions. And I was telling somebody, uh Y'all just making me talk about all the things that I said I'm going to do separate videos for, right? But I was telling someone the other day, I said, there is, the decision is the starting point to destiny. I said, but what most people get so discouraged because they make the decision and they disregard the directions that is going to take to get to the destiny, right? The in between process, which is the directions and the discipline. So in between decision and destiny is the directions and the discipline. Most people want to skip the discipline part. They're like, give me the directions. But when the directions require discipline and when it requires them to do something differently, that is when they are willing to forfeit the destiny. Man, I am dropping bars today, okay? All right. So again, between the decision and the destiny is the discipline, right? And the directions. And most people just simply want to, they just want the directions. But when the directions require discipline and you doing something differently, that's when they get discouraged and they're willing to forfeit the destiny. And so that's where a lot of people get stuck and they're just like, well, what's the difference between this person and that person when both of these people are gifted? You know, both of these people are gifted. Both of these people are talented, right? But it seems like this person is going fast and this person over here is struggling and straining, right? But it's not that. It's it's not that this person is so much greater necessarily. It's just that one person has decided to be disciplined enough to do, make the changes, do the different thing so that they can get to their desired destination. And that's really the only difference, right? There are people that are definitely smarter than me, that are more talented naturally, their skills are better, they have more education, all of those things. They've had a better hand dealt to them, right, than I have. But at the end of the day, um the thing that separates me, right? The reason why God is continuing to allow me to go forward is simply because I'm not running from the difficulty. And even when I struggle with discipline, I get back on the journey. I'm like, dang, I messed up today. I didn't get it all right today. But when I get up again, okay, now I'm just going to try it again. It is what it is. Eventually I'll get it. Like, that's how I approach life. What's up? What's up, trucker? Yeah. So you get what I'm saying? It's like, and remember what we're talking about today. We're talking about the one shift, the number one shift that you need to make to be successful in every area of your life. It really is the power of perspective. I wish I could tell you this magic formula, but it's not. It's literally the power of perspective. I choose to look at situations differently. I choose to find the blessing in the lesson. I choose to look for something that will continue to propel me forward. Because again, as I said earlier, when it comes to perspective, that it is your power to operate in a place, to stay in a place of pity, or get up and operate from, in a posture of prosperity. Those are the two options. You only have two choices, right? And so, like I also said about the statement that Steve Harvey made, he was just like, if you're already going through hell, why stay there? You get what I'm saying? Like, and it makes so much sense. Why am I going to stay in a place I don't want to be? You know, even if you can't, even if you don't necessarily know exactly what to do or which way to go, to keep moving because this is not where you want to stay, right? We know it's hot in hell, so why do we want to stay there? You know what I'm saying, right? And hard is, and another thing is that a lot of people will say, forgiveness is hard, right? And I posted a status yesterday on Facebook and I said, healing, or they'll say healing is hard. So I posted a status, and you guys can put this in the comments. I said, healing is hard, but choosing to remain broken is too big of a burden to bear, right? So I'm going to say it again. Healing is hard, but choosing to remain broken is too big of a burden to bear. Because if I choose to stay broken, I can't get what's on the other side of the healing and the wholeness that awaits me. And when you choose to stay in that place, you're carrying around baggage, you're carrying around bondage, and it is heavy, it is hard, right? And so if you continue to carry it around, it just burdens you down, it slows you down, it weighs you down. So again, healing is hard, but choosing to remain broken is too big of a burden to bear. And so because of that, I'm just like, man, I'm gonna choose my load, right? I'm gonna choose my load. And I'm a sister that likes to pack light. If you ever see me in the airport, you're probably not gonna see me carrying much or nothing. Because I believe in packing light. I don't believe in, walking around carrying all this unnecessary weight and stuff like that, because your girl got to be on the go. I have things to do, places to be, people to see, right? And so, again, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm doing this from my phone. My arm that got tired over here on this side, y'all. And so that's why my camera's moving all crazy. So I'm probably going to delete this so it won't be looking real ratchet and raggedy. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of, that's that on that. Um, I'm glad you all are asking these questions. But again, I'm going to be bringing to y'all different kind of content. So it's not just going to be about, um, you know, it's not going to be all preachy. It's not going to be all prophetic. It's not going to be all personal. It's going to be a combination of content that really encompasses the totality of who I am and what I have to offer to the world. So I'm going to be talking about things like this mindset, because this is what I would consider mindset. I'm going to be talking about, marketing, probably some, motherhood and, marketplace, which is business. But whatever, it's going to be value that will add to and change and transform your lives. And I know that, some of you are not used to me operating in that vein, in that lane, in the multiplicity, of my totality. But I am definitely going to show up like that because I need you guys to do the same thing. And so I will be doing a disservice to you all if I'm not showing you how to do it, what it looks like to really own all of the parts of you that, um, and doing all of the things that you've been created, to do. And so that was one of the a part of the journey, that I went on when I left YouTube, is really owning, um, the multiplicity, really owning every aspect of what God has put me on this earth to do, and not just allowing myself, because people can only do what I allow them to do, right? But not just allowing myself to be put like in this box and saying, oh, well, if you're on YouTube, you can only talk about this. Or, people don't want to hear that. Well, there are people that want to hear it, and there are people that will continue to show up. And then there are people that, those that who don't want to hear it, then God will continue to bring in others who do. And so I'm willing. A lot of people are not willing to be pruned first so that they can be fruitful and multiply. I'm willing to do that, which is why when I came back, I was very clear, like, don't expect, um, things to be the same way that they were, because I'm not even the same. I mean, I've evolved, I've grown, I've matured in a lot of areas. I've experienced a lot of different things, so I'm just not the same person. And so for me to come back and try to be that would be a disservice to you all. So, but I'm truly excited, like I said, about being back. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for the love. Thank you, Tiffany, for the donation. Um, let's see. I'm glad you got on too. Thank you, Katrina. All right. Any other last little questions? I've been on here about 45 minutes. I was like, I'm going to be on here about 20 minutes, right? That's what I told myself. I'm going to be out here about 20 minutes, but no. But no. Here I am, 45 minutes in. Okay, last question. Azasia. I probably pronounced that all wrong. I'm sorry if I did. I better type fast. Speak now or forever hold your peace. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm not playing, but I'm playing. How do you continue to thrive after your journey of prosperity starts? I think for me, because here's the thing, and to be, completely honest and transparent, I was telling God and asking God about, I did, woo, woo, go Shamika. Hey, hey. But I was telling God, like why did I seem to experience like these spurts of success and then it would be like this real long dry season or like a very, very long season of trials and, tribulations, I guess you would call it. And so what God told me, he said the reason that you didn't consider, that you didn't continue and you were in that cycle, he said was because you didn't believe that it was possible. And you also didn't believe that you deserved it. And so what would happen was I would get to this place where I would feel like it was too good to be true because that was a belief system that I had, that it was too good to be true, that all good things come to an end. Um, you know, and because of my belief system, it because of my belief system, I kept birthing that in my life. And so belief systems become birthing systems, right? So I talked about that in one of the other videos. I don't think I went into detail, but I did a little bit of real. So y'all can go back and watch that. Or it's called Shorts, I think, on YouTube. But anyway, belief systems become birthing systems. So if you believe that this was luck, if you believe that success is not a continual process for you, thank you. I'm gonna write a book on it, Ashley. I just finished my Market Like a Mogul book today. I printed it out so that I can make sure that I don't have any final edits. But I actually finished the last round of editing today. But yeah, um, belief systems, become birthing systems. And so because I believed those things, I kept and continue to birth it in my life. So what happens is your life becomes um, a representation, or I guess a manifestation of what you truly believe. And when you believe certain things, your actions line up with it. So what I'm saying is, when I got to a certain level, I began to sabotage. I began to self-sabotage. I would do and say things that I knew were going to make people, mad and probably stop talking to me. Um, I would distance myself in certain relationships. Um, I would stop doing the things that I knew I needed to be doing to continue on this path of success. And I would make all these legitimate excuses. Listen to me. I said legitimate excuses. So I would make legitimate excuses for why I had to stop doing this, and this. And here's the sad part. There was a part of me that was saying that I believe God is telling me to do this, when the reality was I wasn't. It wasn't that he was telling me to do it. That had just become a part of my belief system. And so I kept doing it, right? So I'm gonna tell you, um, there's a book that I read. Now I'm gonna tell y'all before y'all go and be like, The book, the guy that wrote the book, he is not a believer, he's not a Christian. Um, but he has a lot of teachings that align with biblical, you know, with the Bible, even though he may not know it, but I did. Anyway, the book is called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, I think. But anyway, it's called The Big Leap. And so in the book, he talked about how our mind is so powerful that we can create situations in our lives to sabotage ourselves. And they are so real to us that we would literally, again, create these scenarios and these situations that become legitimate. I said legitimate excuses. He didn't say that, but legitimate excuses to why we can no longer continue to execute. And so y'all trying to make me stay on here all night. I'm not doing this with y'all. But let me say this. um, Most people think they fear failure, but they really don't. They fear success. And when I realized that the fear of success was a real thing, um, it changed everything for me. So most people say, well, I fear failure. You don't, because fear is of the unknown, right? So we fear things that we're not know that we don't know, we can't really clearly see what's on the other side. We failed before, but then we still try in other areas of our lives. So it's not that we fear failure. We fear success, and here's why. Because of who and what success will cost us. So what I'm saying is that when you know that when you reach a certain level of success, you are now responsible for more. You have to be more disciplined. You can't just say all the things that you want to say because you want to say them. Like, you have to mature. I'll say that you have to mature, and it's going to require you to go through some things that are painful for you personally. And you also know that as you reach a certain level of success, that there are certain people that y'all not going to relate anymore. You're not going to have those things in common anymore. And those people will begin to drop off and things like that. I see the fear of success more so in married women who have more success or more influential than their spouses. And I see this more often than anything. So what they do, yes, it does. It sure does. So what they do is, if they've ever reached a pinnacle or they reached a level of success and it caused a rift in a relationship with their spouse, or caused a rift in a relationship with people that they are cool with, or if it sounds anything like their family saying, oh, you think you're better than us, um, then what happens is they begin to self-sabotage their success. So they won't go as hard as they should go. They won't fully commit to the process. They won't implement all of the things that they need to implement. And it is because they are afraid that if there's already been a rift at this level of success, when I get here, or if I get there, then the relationship will probably be totally destroyed. And so what happens is they begin to self-sabotage. So they start playing small. They start doing good and not good enough, but not great, right? Um, they put in some work, but not the work that they know that they should or could be putting in, because they really truly feel like, oh my God, this is going to cost me this relationship. This is going to cost me this relationship. And so that is what happens. And again, I see it so often. So it's not the fear of failure. It's really the fear of success, because of who and or what success will cost you. Let the church say amen. I think that was a mic drop. I think that was a good word. Amen. Um, no, I think that was very transformational for many of you. But, that's when I understood that, I was just like, oh, my goodness. Oh, thank you, Eve. Thank you so much for your donation. I truly appreciate it. I'm glad to see you as well. And I thank you. And I just pray that God exponentially expands what you donated today. Um, so thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. The impact of success on identity and relationships. So, you know, but these are the type of conversations that I love to have. These are the kind of processes that I have to walk my clients through. Um, inside of, for those who don't know, I fall under the umbrella of a business coach. And so I'm the creator of Market Like a Mogul. I'm the creator of Scale to Soar. And I'm the creator of Cash Before Creation, Next Level Business Academy, all of the things. I just got my registered trademarks, 2 of them in the mail today. So I'm super excited about that. But in short, I teach service-based providers, service-based women entrepreneurs, how to create scalable solutions and signature systems so that they can make multiple 6 figures in their business without sacrificing themselves to do it. And so with my Market Like a Mogul strategy program, I teach them how to automate 90% of their sales so that they only have to work 10% of the time. And And with Cash Before Creation, I teach my clients how to prove the profitability of their product before they produce it, so that they're not wasting time on a failed or flopped launch, and they're able to know that when they put this out there, people are going to buy it. So it gives them the freedom to go ahead and put and promote their product, because they know that they're going to get a return on it. And so that is what I do in the business world. So these types of conversations are conversations that I actually have with my clients, to help them walk through those broken belief systems that are becoming birthing systems, to help them defeat, right, the fear of success and those types of things. Because oftentimes, what I found is my clients come to me for strategy, but what they really need is mindset work, and they need to change their belief systems. And then the strategies that I teach them work with ease. And so that's what happened. One of my clients, I had a client that just did 3 million in sales in a little bit over 30 days, and she was shocked and stunned, because she had never made any more than $50,000 a year in her business. And and so when we talked, she said the systems that you had me to create work. She said, but the biggest shift for me was what you helped me to do mentally, because she didn't realize that her belief systems were why she was barely, making any income with the product that she had, that she could have easily did what she did. Do you think broken all belief systems stem from childhood? All of them. All broken belief systems stem from childhood. Have you ever made money and couldn't realize where it went, and you didn't spend it? They pray for your downfall. Shake my head. Yeah, I mean, but that comes with a lack of discipline. I was an emotional spender, so when I would get in a place of not anger, but for me, I would spend when I was bored, or when depression was trying to kick in. And so to get out of that place, I used to use money to do it, but it wasn't even buying like a lot of things. It was just to entertain myself, right? So I would spend a lot of money on entertainment and eating out and stuff like that. Um, because it's money is emotional, and money is also mental. So how you spend your money, whether you spend all of it, whether you hold on to it and hoard it, there's a such thing called money mindset, which is also something I teach my clients, so that they can learn how to heal that part, and that broken belief system around their money, so that they can shift, right? So there's a such thing as money mindset that I teach on as well. And then inside of my academy, my financial coach is there to help guide them along the journey. It's hard to let what feels like yourself go, though. It is when it's a part of your identity. Yeah. No, I've never had that happen. If the money's gone, I spent it. Yeah, if the money's gone, I spent it. I've never had money disappear and I not know, and I didn't spend it. No. All of my clients, we do an application first to make sure you're a good fit. So if you want the application, just send me an email, or just send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll send you the application. So, but all of my clients, we do an application first to make sure that our services are going to help you, because I don't want your money if it's not. Yes, I do work with people out of the U.S. I have clients all over, thankfully. Thank God. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, trucker. That's not my area of expertise. I can't guide you on that at all. Yeah, I have clients from all over. I've had clients in New Zealand, um, the Virgin Islands, um, the Dominican Republic, um, Ireland. Um, I've had clients from everywhere, from everywhere. Not everywhere, but a lot of places. I wouldn't say everywhere. That's a little far fetched. But I've had clients from various locations outside of the U.S. Yes, Miguel. I don't work in the fashion business. Do you mean do I help have clients that are in the fashion business? So my clients are service-based providers, or they are product-based business owners who want to go into the service-based space to create passive income and residual revenue. So my clients don't, I don't work with like only accountants or only boutique owners. I do work with service-based providers or product-based businesses who want to create a service-based entity to their business. Those are the clients I work with. So I've worked with accountants. I work with pageant winners. One of my clients is a pageant winner. She was Ms. Cosmo International 2020. I work with real estate agents. I worked with hairstylists. I worked with doctors. I worked with, who else is on my roster? Credit specialists. I worked with financial coaches. Um, I work with boutique owners. So, but that's, the area that I operate in, or help them in, is what I mentioned earlier. So I hope that clears up some things for you. I work with makeup, people in the beauty industry, cosmetics and things like that. Do I know any book publishing companies? No, I do not. I teach book writing under my mastermind, and publishing, because I publish my own books. And so I teach that, but I don't know any publishing companies. No, because I'm self-published. So no problem. You're welcome. Tiffany Buckner. I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is. Do you think wealth is a goal in itself or a result of talent? I think we should identify our talent and focus fully on it. And success is a result of being aligned with what God calls you to do. So, do you think wealth is a goal? I think that wealth is a promise. The Bible says that, God gives us the ability to obtain wealth. So I believe that we all have the ability to attain wealth. I believe that wealth is defined differently by everyone. Whereas some people feel like, six figures is wealth. And other people feel like wealth is more of a mindset, and wealth is about building legacy. So, wealth again is determined and defined differently by individuals. I believe that we should focus on not necessarily our talent. I do believe that we should operate in our vein of genius, and our focus should actually be impacting lives with the gifts that we have, and increase comes from that. However, it does not negate the fact of putting in the things that you need to do. So like, for example, I can't say I'm only going to focus on serving people, but I don't get my standard operating procedures done in my business, that I don't trademark my intellectual property, that I don't create a system that I can take clients through time and time again, to get results in their business. So it also doesn't mean that I don't need to hire staff or build, have my HR policy making sure that all of my foundations and fundamentals are where they need to be. So that means that I focused on my systems, my software. I made sure that that I built my tutorials, my standard operating procedures. I made sure that my branding, is right. Can y'all not hear me anymore? Can y'all still hear me? It's skipping. Oh, okay. It may be. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, good. All right, all right, all right. So, anywho, I was saying that, I had to make sure that I did all of those things because I cannot expect for God to send, an increase if I haven't done my part. You get what I'm saying? To properly prepare for the increase that I'm praying for. So, okay, it's back on now. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, can y'all still hear me now? Make sure. Because it's clear on my end, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, so maybe if you can't hear, maybe go out and come back in, okay? I missed a couple of questions, looks like. Is this just your phone that films this good? Did you invest in a camera? Yeah, this is my iPhone. I built my entire business and all of my videos have been done with the iPhone. Have you dealt with family and people in your life constantly ask for money once you become successful? If so, how did you deal with it? I believe in helping others, but don't want to be taken advantage of. That's a good question. So yes, I have had people to ask. And I remember one day, first of all, when it comes to giving, if you can't afford to give, then don't. So that's the first thing. If you can't afford to give it and not get it back, don't do it. Because it will create, division, and it can create bitterness in your heart if they don't pay you back. So if you can't afford to give without them investing it back, then don't. That's number one. Number two was, just because they ask doesn't mean that I always have to give. So here's what I did. I create a giving budget. So every year, starting last year, I decided instead of a money goal or revenue goal, I created a giving goal, a certain amount of income that I want to give away outside of my tithes, outside of offering, just giving. That goal is broken down into months, right? So if I reach that giving goal for the month, I don't care who asks for it, I just don't give it, right? And I told my sibling, I've told some of my loved ones, and I said, hey, I've already reached my giving goal for the month, so I'm not going to be able to do it, right? And so again, I set a giving goal, and I also know that my problem is not my job is not to enable them. So I also let them know, like, hey, you've asked for income, these amount of times, I'm not doing it, right? I don't need you coming to me because I'm not going to continue to do it just because you ask for it or just because I have it. The other thing is that God told me, he said, you asked me to be the lender and not the borrower. So don't get mad when people come to you asking to borrow, because it could be on the other foot. The shoe could be on the other foot where you needed it, but you're in a position to give it. And so I had to be thankful that I'm in a position to give to people. And, and that's just that. Like, I'm thankful that I'm in a position to give, and I don't have to be, I don't have to ask anyone, because that is one of the prayers that I prayed. So, he said we should be generous. He never said we were supposed to give away everything. So that's the difference. You get what I'm saying? Being generous is not the same as giving away everything you've got, or giving every time somebody asks you, to give, especially when you know that they're coming to you because you've now enabled them and you're just giving. So yeah, they're going to keep coming back. If I know that I can go and spend all my money on God knows what, Because every time I come to you to pay my rent, you're going to give me the money. Then why not? Right, exactly, Tish. Or enable. He never told us to enable people. And so you have to ask yourself, beyond you giving, you have to ask yourself why you're afraid to say no. Right? And so normally when we have a hard time setting boundaries or saying no to people, it's because there's either a fear of rejection or there's a fear of abandonment. So the fear of rejection is they're going to be mad, they're not going to talk to you anymore, right? And the fear of abandonment is that the relationship will come to an end if I don't do this. So if that's the problem, then it's deeper than you giving. It means that there's an area of healing that needs to happen. You get what I'm saying? So it's always deeper. The actions always have a deeper. There's another level behind them. Yeah, because sometimes we try to be God. I think I talked about that. Uh, I talked about that the other day when I was talking about burnout, and I said, you're burnt out because of this statement right here, and some of you probably say it, but you're burnt out because of the statement, "I'm here whenever you need me." I stopped telling people that because I'm not. I'm not. You're burnt out because of the statement, "I'm here whenever you need me." And here's the thing. When you are there whenever someone needs you, now you try to become God. You're playing God at that point. Because it says that he never sleeps nor slumber. That means that I can. And then he told us that we are servants. We're not saviors. It's not our job to be there for everyone all of the time whenever they need us. But what happens is we have been taught that that's loyalty when it's really codependency. It's not loyalty. Whenever you literally try to become everything to someone else, you are codependent. You need to be needed to feel loved. You need to be needed to feel, you need to be needed, so that it really is rooted in the spirit of abandonment, because you need to be needed so that you won't lose your position in that person's life because you have a fear of abandonment. And so you become the savior. You're like, yep, I'm there whenever they need me. I'm there, da 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 da. And it's just like, but why? Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying be there. I'm not saying not to be there for people. But when you have made a vow and a covenant to be there for someone whenever they need you, that's a problem. It's not healthy. It's a trauma response to the fear of abandonment. And I'm not even preaching to y'all. I'm just preaching. No, but seriously. So these are the types of broken belief systems that I am called to destroy, to help people break through, even in business. And see, what happened was I used to think that, oh, I'm just supposed to do this in ministry. God was like, no, that's the anointing on your life, period. It works in business as well. You just have to be willing to teach it in business, because the people that I'm sending to you, their money is funny because of the broken belief systems. And so that is what you're anointed to do, is to help people break through those broken belief systems so that they can begin living the best of the life that God has for them, right? And so these are some of the things that some of my clients, have had to go through, have endured. These are some of the belief systems that I had to go through. I always wanted to be the one that people could count on. But I was burnt out. I was tired. I was broken. And guess what? Most of the people that I was giving my all to and was there whenever they need me were nowhere to be found. So I had to learn that, yes, I can serve you with my gifts. Yes, I can be there. But sometimes I'm not available mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, whatever. Because there are some times where I need to go to God for myself. I ain't got it, bruh. I ain't got it, sis. Like, I love you, but I'm going to need you to go to the throne for yourself, player. Because I'm not the one that, late in the midnight hour that you can expect to turn it around. Now, I'm not God, right? It doesn't mean that I love you any less, but I need you to get to know him for yourself. I need you to know that the same God that answers me answers you. I need you to understand that I am here to be a helper and a servant to you, but I am not the Savior. Okay? So, anyway, I'm going to get off here. My son has come to the door twice. I don't know if it's time to eat. I don't know if he needs to talk to me or what. He didn't want to disturb me, but this is the second time he's come to the door. So I have to get off here and see what's going on. Make sure he's good. I think I've served you all well. We've been on here an hour and 15 minutes. So love y'all immensely and intensely. I'm going to leave this up for a while and see if I want to leave it up because of the shaky camera and all this good stuff. Not the best quality. But anywho, I'll talk to y'all later. And you guys enjoy your weekends, okay? Bye-bye.